What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. There's a lot to talk about. I don't know that anyone else has covered this, so I want to start with it. Salah is posting videos again on his YouTube channel. Now, he went a meaningful amount of time without posting. There was a long period of time where he wasn't even included in her videos. But now we have this little cat and mouse game where Chantal is coming online and she's saying that they're not talking, that he's sending mixed signals, that they have trouble getting a hold of each other. And of course, let's not forget the whole reason she had to leave initially was because the internet was so bad. And yet here Salah is editing these little clips together. The one on the right, if you watch the full video, appears to be a place that they had went out to together. So I don't necessarily know that these are current videos that he's made, but they are current videos he's uploaded. And those can be two totally different things. These could have been shot weeks, months, years ago, for all we know. But I find it interesting that she's coming online. She's proclaiming that they're not really in communication. And then he's literally simultaneously uploading shorts onto his channel. Now, there were some other things that we learned during this stream, but I want to focus just briefly on the middle of your screen. This to me is something Chantal does for the sake of doing it. She posts, going live, not doing so well. She then goes on this 3-hour digital bender, which we'll review in just a moment, some of the major talking points. And then, of course, everything culminates with, oh my God, the person that sent me the gift through PayPal, thank you so much. I can't message you and I don't want to say your name here, but gracious. I think Chantal kind of aims for that. I think her objective is to come online and invoke emotions in someone, and it doesn't necessarily have to be within the confines of her video through a super chat. To just get a donation, to get a Hameo purchase, whatever the case may be. Now, I want to talk about some of the major points of the most recent revelations, if you will. The first of which is she basically admits that she stayed in Thailand for a prolonged period of time because of the residency laws. Now, what I find most interesting is if you recall when this happened, her and Salah were supposed to go to Thailand together the second time, right? And she kept leading on. Salah's coming, he's going to be here, don't worry, don't worry. Now we know there was never a reason for Salah to ever have went to Thailand. Chantal simply was staying there, and in fact, stalling there until she could get her travel visa cleared up. Because she admitted in this stream she attempted to get a family visa, but was unable to do so. So whether she was willing to not wait out that period or simply got to the point where she just said, you know what, I'm done waiting, let me go ahead and leave, one of those things absolutely happened. I would wager to say, based on the cost of staying there, it's more than likely she just decided it was no longer cost effective to stay in Thailand and she wanted to get back. Using that same exact premise, we also learn about why they both left Kuwait. Chantal now wants to take the burden completely off herself through Paul's Kuwait. It had nothing to do with her. And instead, she wants to say that this ultimately came down to Salah and Vandalay Fragrance. So Salah went to her and said, something is going on at Vandalay Fragrance, my business, my empire, my global scent leader, and I have concerns that we're going to be able to continue to work in Kuwait. And apparently tells her, I'm going to go through the proper channels, do what I need to do. We'll see how things pan out. But then before that can finish, abruptly says, you know what? I'm just going to go back to Syria. Now, take that for what you will, but it does validate Chantal's then claim of, I have to go back to Canada. You don't understand. It also further validates the concept that when Salah went to Syria and she returned to Canada the first time, he was telling her, no, don't come here. Because that essentially was the out. He then allowed her to follow him to Syria. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the whole friend situations that she would constantly go over while there. Remember, she didn't understand the language, but somehow had befriended all of these people. The one friend in particular, she talked about needing to have some advice for. And I want you to understand now the reality of what we watched, which we didn't know then, was that Salah and Chantal were in the apartment. Chantal sees a message pop up on Salah's phone. She gets mad. She throws the phone and she says, I'm leaving. Due to various restrictions, she can only leave about 50 feet. She goes down to the pool. She then turns on a live, knowing well that Salah will probably watch. And she then outlines this story of, I have a friend, and all of these things happened. Salah then watches the chat degrade, vilify, be outraged for this, quote, friend, but the whole time, it was really Chantal. It was really Salah. And he has the audacity to run downstairs and run around in an empty pool while Chantal says to him, I just exposed you. Those things really happened. She also goes over this story where, she didn't trust Salah. More so after what happened with Kybella. And there was a time he returned when she was sick from being with his father, supposedly having went out to dinner. And she asked, why are you hungry if you come in the home now after having been out with your family? And he rapidly comes to this conclusion of just having ate rice and chicken. And she says that she asked him for photos of where they went. And he showed a photo of a mosque that was near where his father lived. Do you remember when she would constantly come online and say, no, you don't understand the relationship we have. Salah sends me pictures everywhere he goes. I just got one today. Do you know that what that really was, in now Chantal's own words, was her telling him, you have to send me pictures of where you're going and where you're at in real time. It made me think of one specific time where Chantal posted a picture of a dinner and people immediately reverse image search and they found that it was just a stock photo. And I thought to myself, was there a possibility that Salah had said he was going out? Chantal did not want to go, but she still insisted that he send photos of the meal. Chantal then gets that photo, posted on the community page, assuming that it's from Salah's dinner that she can just proclaim she's at. And the whole time, he was never there. It was never his dinner. And he simply went on a Google quest to find an image of a traditional meal. The last point that I want to make, and it really irritates me that we're in this even sphere of thinking. Chantal claims that Salah's family is not able to take care of their children. And she framed this in such a fashion that had Salah not provided additional children to the family, that it wouldn't have been this devastating loss. Meaning that there was already an abundance of children, so her inability to have children should not impact the family at all. I offer this because Chantal has came online continually asking for donations for Sasa. Talking about how the donations she's made and the fact that, remember, she would continue to give even once she went back. We're going to change everything. I think if people did give, they likely did give to help the girl. But in going back and looking at those posts, going back and looking at her go to school, there was never once even the slightest undertone that they were incapable of taking care of their children. And I think Chantal is only doing that now to further insult Salah and degrade his family, which, by the way, was the one thing he asked her not to talk about. So I wonder if these little festive outdoor videos, Salah, are they gonna turn into something different? Or are you just going to sit here out in the wilderness while Chantal sits online, makes a mockery, disrespects, and degrades your family? The one thing you asked her not to do. But the only thing you're going to do in response is upload a video of the sky or maybe a nice little waterfall going through some woodland. You know, Salah, you had a lot of things to say about me not too long ago when you felt maybe you would be capable of handling a reaction channel. Maybe you should take some of those concepts and thoughts, some of that video format that you were so proud of when you spoke to Kybella and said, "Look at the video I made about Ryan and all the video views that I can get from this. And this took me hours." Salah, why don't you try to care a little bit less about me and a little bit more about what Chantal's doing to you? Love to know your guys' thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching it. You know, when Salah is out filming nature while Chantal is disrespecting and degrading his family, there is no way that I cannot be back as soon as I can with more commentary.